Hey everybody, I hope you are doing well. I'm Afefe with Touch by Tarot, and I'm here to do a pick a card reading for you all. This is a message that you really need to hear at this time. As I was in meditation this morning and asking what did I need to bring to you for today's spread, and they said it's just a message that you need to hear at this time. So however that applies, it could be something that's going to, resonate with you over a period of time. It could be something that you're dealing with right now that this is going to give you some insight, an answer that you've been seeking. But it is a timely message. It is something that you really do need to hear at this time to give you clarity around something. I've got 3 piles in front of me. See visually, kept saying use your eyes, use your insight, use your intuition, what you are drawn to here. This deck says it's a destined love oracle. I will be reading with all oracles today. I pulled out 2 tarot decks and they said, nope, not today. This is oracles. So this one, no message on the top of the deck, but that very compelling visual. If you're drawn to pile number 2. That'll be with that deck. And then this third deck over here is the Deeper Views Oracle. All right. So see how you relate to those visually. I also have a tea leaf card that I'm going to pull and see if that helps you choose. Give you a catalyst message from that. Let's see. Pile number 1. Spirit, what is a message that they will resonate with to know if that's their deck? We have a Seahorse, Family Matters. Okay, pile number 1. So maybe there's something with you around the family, and that might help ping you with a seahorse. Very positive omen. All right, pile number 2. A message for you, a catalyst message. Ooh, I'm feeling that one right there. Cracked cup, dissatisfaction with life. Okay, there could be a message for you on that, and that speaks loud and clear. If this is, sort of a tough time for you or a tough time for someone around you, dissatisfaction with life, maybe in a stage of feeling like, things need to be put back together, put back on course, pile number 2 could be for you. And finally, pile number 3, Spirit, what is their catalyst message? Oh, that wanted to come. A bow, you are highly thought of. Pile number 3. A bow, you are highly thought of. If there's something in that message that resonates with you. And of course, as always with pick a card readings, there could be more than one pile that you're drawn to. So just always, always, always follow your intuition, because chances are there's multiple messages that you may need at this time from your spirit guides. All right. Having said that, let's go ahead and put these 2 over to the side, and let's go in on pile number 1. That Seahorse, Family Matters. There's something going on perhaps with you right now where family is really a pressing concern. Maybe you're making some changes. Doesn't have to be, a negative or a bad or stressful, concern. It could be good stuff going on with the family. But let's see what's happening. I'm going to put that over there. All right, Spirit, what is the message that pile number 1 needs around? And also I was led to, they said I needed to do the cards for you today, spread the cards for you. Very often when I do pick a cards, I spread the cards ahead of time. But today they said, nope, need to do it with you. All right, our first card is Redemption. Remembering that everything's relating around these family matters. So there's redemption. There's an act of redemption there. Let's go a little farther. That off the bat, that feels like, finances. Ooh, interesting. So maybe there's been some decisions made around money in a with regard to your family. And those decisions have caused some sort of backlash or maybe regret, maybe some poor decision making, because redemption in and of itself, redemption indicates that there's this, there's an opportunity for doing something over, for doing it in a better way, for making a smarter choice, a smarter decision. And clearly this was around finances, either the way that money was spent, the way that money's been invested. If there's a lack of capital, let's go a little further in and see what we get. We have dating and romance around family matters. I wonder if some of you may have gone too far in terms of the time that you've been spending in a relationship, resources that have been invested in that relationship. And now you're having a larger thought or a more long-term thought about where is all of this investment leading? Because family is forever. You know what I mean? When we think about family, we think about things that are lasting, that are supportive, that build our security. Dating and romance is something that hopefully many of us, if you're in that situation, and remembering too, when we talk about dating, you could be in, in a 40-year relationship, 20, 30, 40-year relationship, but you still have to have that aspect of dating and romance to keep it fresh, keep it spicy. So if you have been in this situation where there's somehow been a waste or a miscalculation relating to what's been built, especially with regard to money, then that's something that's what that redemption is speaking to. It's like, how do you go back and make it lasting? How do you go back and have a redo? Perhaps rethinking the extent to which you need to do that. Opposite, they just told me, is if you have been in the doldrums or thinking you can't afford to do certain things, you can't afford to, splurge in dating and romance because of some sort of financial constraints, you might want to think about that as well. If in fact it's time to loosen the belt a little bit. A secret admirer, pile number 1. Dating and romance with a secret admirer relating to this redemption and money. If you have had any fears, pile number 1, if you are on the dating scene, or if you are in a relationship that needs a little spicing up and the monetary considerations could be what's been holding you back, Spirit is saying now's a time for you to tune in on that. I think this secret admirer is not just in a romantic context, but also people who look up to you for the way you handle yourself, for the way that you carry yourself. People admire you, and they may not always tell you that. Friendship, absolutely. Just as we were saying that, we got the friendship card here. There are people who are watching how you are handling a situation, pile number 1. They look to you and the way that you do things to set the bar for how they do it. And if there is a misstep, something where you feel like you behaved in a way or you tolerated a certain behavior, and now that person is trying to redeem themselves, and they may be full on letting you know that's how they feel, or they may be holding back a little bit with that secret admirer. It comes in 2 ways. It is people who, without romantic interest, are watching you and the way that you do things. It could be your family members who are doing that, your siblings, other family members who watch what you are doing in your romantic life, your dating life, the way you are handling something that has to do with your wealth, and they're watching the way you have recovered for something. For some of you as well, if you have been divorced or a breakup and you're re-entering dating, or you're thinking about that, there is a secret admirer who is watching how you do things, but they may feel like they don't have the finances that are necessary to really wine and dine you the way that they would want to. And it could be the reason they can't do that is because of those family obligations, those family matters, okay? So Spirit wants you to be aware of that. Don't just don't be too quick to judge, right? Do a little research, explore the friendship aspects of the relationship, tighten that down, and then see where it leads you in that dating and romance department. One more card, Spirit, for pile number 1. What message do they really need to hear at this time? It's complicated. It is. I hear you. And Spirit is acknowledging that. This situation for you all is complicated, and I think the reason it's complicated is there's history to it. Remember, we started out with this redemption card. So there's a lot of history either in the patterns of your relationships, the patterns of how you have typically, handled dating and romance, what your financial expectations have been. And the idea that now Spirit is saying they want you to be aware there's this admiration being given to you or directed to you, this energy, and it is complicated. Because it means on the one hand you want to be carefree, you want to let this person be redeemed, you want to let your love life in general be redeemed. You're ready to do it, but you also are not going to abandon and throw caution to the wind and be irresponsible because of those family matters. Whatever you do at this time in your relationships, pile number one, it has to make long-term sense. It's almost like Spirit is saying you have to treat romance as an investment. You have to treat your love life as an investment and recognize that it's not just the feels that it gives you, but it's also what it results in long term. And you want it to result in something that there's a bond, there's a genuine bond. Many people who are in successful relationships and you talk to them about it, the first thing they'll say is, we're friends. We became friends first. That's what does it. Final card, guidance. That's why you needed this message today. Your spirit guides are basically saying you do have the guidance. We're here for you, and we want you to take the time to do check-ins with yourself to make sure that you are going in the right direction, that you're checking with your own internal compass, your own higher self, your intuition, use your wits, keep your wits about you, because especially when it comes to matters of love and matters of the heart, we can get carried away. What's that saying? The heart wants what it wants, right? But you have to do things in a smart way. Because this redemption, you started out with that. You want to be able to have a different experience and to be redeemed, to have your love life redeemed, regardless whether you are already in a relationship, whether you're recovering from a breakup, whether you're still thinking about the possibilities of any kind of romantic situation going forward, and recognizing that it is complicated because you got to serve both purposes. You want the friendship, but you want the dating and the romance. But all things come back to what you want around family. It has to last for you. It has to make sense long term. It's an investment. That's the bottom line. It is an investment for you, your romantic life at this stage in your life. That's your message. Spirit wants you to go about it. This guidance that's being offered to you is for you to go about it they want you to be smart. And don't discount that if you've been feeling like there are few opportunities for you out there in the dating landscape, there's a secret admirer. Be on the lookout. Pay attention to who says what to you, how things come your way. Pay attention to the vibes that you get from people, because it could be heading in a direction that you would like romantically. But it has to make sense. Don't get so swept up in the jazz of it that you lose sight of ultimately, if you've been in something in the past, either through divorce, breakup, death, loss, otherwise, where it wound up costing you financially because of your love connection, Spirit is saying, okay, now where's that redemption? When you get a do-over, pile number one, your do-over is to do it in the way where you have all of those tingles and love and all of that, but also that your money is taken care of, your investment, your time, your energy. You treat this love now in the future as an investment, a long-term investment, and making sure that friendship is strong, because that's what gets you through all the hurdles. Okay? All right, pile number one. That was awesome. A lot on the horizon for you, and you're going to do it a different way than you did it before. That's what that redemption is about. Okay, we're going to move on now to pile number two, those who got the cracked cup, and it says dissatisfaction with life. All right, dissatisfaction with life. So maybe you're going through something a little tough right now, pile number two. Maybe there's somebody around you that you're trying to help through a difficult time, a difficult situation. But let's see what that cracked cup is about and what you need to do about it. Okay. Spirit, why is there this dissatisfaction with life and this cracked cup? What does pile number 2 need to know? All right. Your first card is an anchor, and it says stability. So, clear message going in, pile number 2. Something has impacted your sense of stability, your sense of what you know, what anchors you, what you know you can count on, what maybe there's been some changes. I'm noticing as well the image of the home, the door. It could be that you've had to move or that you are considering a move. Maybe you're not very happy with where you are right now. And so that stability that you need is, you thinking about that, but maybe not feeling very happy with your choices. That's how this feels connected to one another. Because that dissatisfaction may be, I don't like where I am, but I'm not quite sure where I want to go. You don't seem to have a clear vision of what your next step may be. You may also be just trying to get to a place of putting together the pieces of figuring out what makes you feel dissatisfied. Sometimes we can get into that headspace where we're not feeling happy, we're not firing on all cylinders, but we just can't quite nail what it is. We have a rainbow here. That's hope. In front of the fridge, no less. I love it. I love this deck. In front of a fridge. This too is a very domestic sort of image. And I love you remember, with kids, like kids drawings and all the little magnets with the alphabet and numbers on a fridge for kids, for young ones. That rainbow offering you hope. Spirit, this message for you is very clear, pile number 2. Spirit is basically, your guides are saying there's an opportunity for you to sort of recalibrate yourself and get back into a space of being hopeful, not just looking at what has transpired, not just looking at the events that cracked that cup, right? Quote unquote, using the metaphor, but the events that made you get into that headspace of being dissatisfied. Instead of focusing entirely on that, reviewing that, and understanding that that is what has caused you now to question how you feel about your stability, what your next steps need to be to create that stability. And a key for you is something childlike. It is something, it's a renewal. That rainbow that appears in the sky after that storm, right? That's what Spirit is saying is coming your way. And they want you to know that. They want you to recognize that. They want you to summon that, to align yourself with that kind of energy. You have a crown, your personal power. Wow, thank you, Spirit. They want you to be reminded of that. That's tied to the hope. They want you to be reminded of your personal power, pile number 2. This dissatisfaction with life could very well be tied to the idea that you placed your trust and your faith in others, in what others were going to do to give you that stability, to anchor you, to make you feel safe. And if that, however that has shifted, whatever it is that caused those cracks, that got some of those cracks in the foundation of that, they want you to remember your crown, that you do have personal power, and your power is fed in something childlike, something innocent, something, they want you to believe in them with a sense of wonder and innocence. They want you to know there's a do-over that's coming your way. There is a do-over and a new opportunity that's coming your way, pile number 2. And the way that you speed that up is by getting into this sense of your own personal power, remembering who you are. There's bees community. I love this. You'll tap back into your personal power by getting into your community, by deciding to go after Get busy. That is your personal power. Get busy. Move among people. Get out into your community. Volunteer if you have to. Perhaps this is more work that you want to do, connecting with others. But there is in your connection is what builds that hope and renews you. And it anchors you in a sense of community. If you have been part of this dissatisfaction with life, could have been because you felt emotionally distanced or isolated. Even if you haven't been, even if physically you've been around others, there's been some sort of cutoff with you. And that's what's been fueling the dissatisfaction pile number 2. And it's cutting you off from it's made you feel disempowered. And it's taken you away from that anchor, away from that sense of place. And so there's community. And I also go back to some of you may be considering a move to someplace else because you want to connect with community. And there is lightning, this disruption. It could be that 2 things. I see this 2 ways. One, this is not negative. I know it looks a little ominous, the lightning in the sky while the plane, but that plane is going to get to its destination. Let's look at it that way. It may be a little rocky ride, right? May have to fasten the seatbelts a little bit. The seatbelt sign comes on, but you're going to get where you need to go. And the disruption could be that is a part of what, if you're thinking about moving, but you're not sure where, you're not sure who you want to connect with, or this could be a physical move to a new home. But whatever these changes are that you've been considering because you are dissatisfied, there's something that you want to put those pieces back together in a new way. But there's also this part of you that does not like the notion of the disruption. You don't, there's been a little resistance to that change. And it also could be that circumstances have come your way where the disruption happened. Maybe it was smooth sailing for a moment and then boom, the skies opened up, right? But we talked about the rainbow after a storm. Remember? I love that. Thank you, Spirit. So Spirit is saying, that disruption is meant to spur you on. It's meant to connect you to your personal power. It's meant to jumpstart you into some sort of action to be a part of a community, because that community builds up your power, and then you're not dissatisfied. A lot of times when we get in that space of dissatisfaction, it is because we know instinctively, intrinsically, we know that there's more to life, and we just feel like we don't have the keys to make it happen. We don't have the maybe we don't have the clear roadmap that we feel that we need to make it happen. One more card, Spirit. What will happen? What will they know? What will they need to know in order to really click in? Feather messages. They want you to look for feathers, or be aware of that. Be aware of messages that you're going to get. And I think some of those messages are going to come for you through community. There's definitely something that's saying, get out. Renew your hope, renew your personal power, recognizing that some of this disruption that you may feel, it may be a little uncomfortable for you. You may have to disrupt your typical patterns, your typical, your ways of doing things, pile number 2. The way you've been accustomed to doing things. But that also is what's led to that dissatisfaction with life, because there's more for you, and there's more for you. And you don't want to give up your stability. That's part of sometimes an anchor. On the one hand, an anchor on a positive way can be what keeps us together and provides that stability. On the other hand, an anchor can be what weighs us down and keeps us from moving, right? When, some of the biggest yachts or ships, when they anchor down, it is when they're ready to sit still for a while. But for you, it's time to move. And it's just a matter of you reconnecting with that sense of hope, that sense of, I can do this, that sense of, here's what it feels like when I explore, when I go beyond my typical boundaries. And that feather is coming directly from your spirit guides to say, we're going to give you some messages about that. So what feels like a cracked cup at this time is actually helping you. It had to get disrupted because it's going to give you the vision. You are going to be given a vision of how to begin to put things back together. And your source for that is definitely community. It is getting out and working with others, talking to others, allowing yourself to explore, because in doing that is where you begin to get reconnected to your personal power. And your personal power is what you're not, if you're standing in your power, there's no way you're going to be dissatisfied. All those pieces begin to come back together. And definitely Spirit is giving you messages. You may find yourself coming upon feathers. You may find yourself really being attracted to or noticing birds. But that's your key. That's a sign from your spirit guides for you. Pile number 2 are feathers. Okay? All right. Get busy. Get out there. Get connected with people. Get to work. Because that's how you get your power back. And that is what gets you to that next place that you've been trying to go. So you don't have to feel dissatisfied. They don't want you to feel that way at all. And somehow you lost sight of, or you got distracted from your own power. And also possibilities. That hope is very important for you. You've gotten maybe distanced a little bit from what you feel like is still possible. All right, moving on now to pile number 3. Those of you who were drawn to this bow, and it says you are highly thought of. All right, let's build on that and see what's happening. What message does pile number 3 need, Spirit, around the bow? Tightening things up, tying things together, things becoming neater in their lives. A nice, neat bow, things coming together. You are highly thought of. What do they need to know? All right, you are highly thought of with that bow. Trapped. Oof. Okay. There's an old way of thinking, an old attachment to something where you have begun to believe, or you feel like you're putting someone else's ideas of you ahead of your own. Maybe you feel trapped in how you are operating in this situation where you are not being given your due, and you're not sure, it's been difficult for you to open up to this person or change the situation so that you could express yourself and say, I deserve more, I need more, I want more. A cleansing. Wow. Look at that. There's a release. Pile number 3, there's a release for you. Because this binding, whatever this way of being, thinking, this relationship, even this job, something that you don't want to do anymore and you feel like you don't have options, but whatever this got you feeling bound up, Spirit wants you to begin to cleanse yourself from that idea. This is emotional cleansing. Because remember, this actually comes as soap. Where do we use the soap? In the shower, in the tub, right? With water. We cleanse our bodies. There's some cleansing that they want you to do. And this has to do with your self-esteem. Somehow your self-esteem has gotten hit or taken a hit. Games. This feels like somehow you have been given some false information or false ideas that you accepted as truth, maybe just to get along, maybe just to survive, maybe just to get through it. But ultimately, it is just a game. It is not real. What is keeping you trapped? If I were using a tarot deck, this combination right here, pile number 3, it reminds me of the devil. Because with the devil, we often feel bound up and trapped by games we play with people, with jobs, with things, with circumstances where we feel like we tell ourselves it's beyond my control, or, I can't change them. It is what it is. But in doing that, you begin to accept behaviors or a way of life that really just doesn't agree with your soul. And that's spirit is wanting to say you are highly thought of. This is coming direct from your spirit guides who are saying we think highly of you. And there is a cleansing that needs to take place where you begin to shed some of that stuff, wash that stuff off, release it, because it's not true. It's not serving you. Awareness. Wow. Look at that. Awareness. They want to bring your awareness. This could even be where, for some of you, it could be where this happened and you didn't even realize it. You know, the job went on and you didn't even realize how you were not being adequately appreciated, compensated, promoted, etc., treated well, or in a relationship context, whatever this behavior has been. And this could even be personal, how you are taking care of yourself and getting into a pattern of playing games with you, tripping your own self out where you know what you should do. You know that you deserve better, but you just gotten caught up in some gunk. And so now there's that awareness. It's saying, no, you are entering a stage of awareness where you know that you are highly thought of somewhere by someone. And here it is your spirit guides who are saying that. They want you to be aware of that. This is your self-esteem. And look at that patience. Because it took a while. That frame of mind that got you, trapped, it took a while. And so there's a stage of awareness that you are undergoing right now, a growth in your awareness, pile number 3, where you are highly thought of. You needed to be reminded of that. That was your primary message today and why you were drawn to this stack, because you needed to be reminded you are highly thought of. And there is patience that is required, because this cleansing, extracting, that's the word that I got. They want for you to extract yourself from what made you feel trapped in this behavior, this way of thinking. Building that awareness is going to take some time. And you got to be patient with yourself. It's going to be a process for you. The cleansing is going to be a process for you. And I feel like it's going to be lifelong. Like once you get into this, music is going to help you. It's a release. You need a release. And music will help you. Music will help you move through it. It will cleanse your emotional body. It'll cleanse your aura. It will literally shift the energy around you. And that is what they want for you right now, is to have that energy shift with beauty and grace. Oh my goodness. Talk about the connection between these two energies, pile number 3. We talked about wrapping up a bow, putting a bow on it, a nice, neat bow. You are highly thought of because you are being brought back to your natural beauty and grace, your natural state of who you are. And so this over here, this feeling trapped and playing those games, or letting people, recognizing that games were being played with you, this energy is being moved out. Spirit is saying it's time to let that energy be moved out. It's time to cleanse and let that energy be moved out. And the way that happens for you is there's an awareness of it. You need to assess it first and foremost so you can be aware of it. Cleanse from it. Release. Music is a part of that cleansing. Some of you may even be, if you have an opportunity, get in the tub and put your headphones on and lay back and listen to some music that gives you patience, that feeds your awareness, that opens up your third eye. There's some chakra cleansing specifically for some of you. If you're into the chakras, this is about cleansing your chakras, opening those blocked chakras, taking off the chains of your mind, those patterns of thinking, that defeatist thinking, that feeling overpowered, because that's a game. That's a game. And now it's about this awareness that you're undergoing, or that you're right on the verge of, or that you've begun to feel, and recognizing you are highly thought of. You are filled with this beauty and grace. You're meant to walk in that. Walk in your truth. Walk in your divine essence. And there's the key. The key to your future. The key to what lies beyond. The key to whatever lock was holding those chains in place. The key to unlock that comes through music, cleansing, and an awareness that you're undergoing right now. To know you are highly thought of by the universe, by the ascended masters, by your teachers, by your own soul, by your higher self. And there's a cleansing that you need to go through, and be patient while you're doing it. Let's not forget that patience card, because this energy took time to build up, and it's going to take time to use that key, break the locks, and get yourself into a space of really walking in your beauty and grace. And that is not, even though this is a feminine energy, when we say beauty, we tend to think feminine energy, but this is not gender specific. This is the beauty of life, the beauty of your heart, the beauty of your energy, and the grace of your spirit, the grace of your soul. Reminding yourself of that. You are highly thought of. And if this energy came because there were those who put you down, or those who played games with you, those who betrayed you, who did not value you in the way that you certainly deserved, then there's your key. The key is coming to unlock that energy, your awareness of the fact of who you really are, and a cleansing process that's beginning to take place, or is going to take place. And being patient with yourself as you go through that process. Pile number 3. That's what's happening. That's the message that you needed, that your spirit guides wanted to give you this day. I hope it resonates with you. I hope you hold on to it. It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. All right, that's it. Take good care, and I will talk to you all really, really soon. Bye-bye.